You think we know everything about our own planet? What if I told you that the vast majority of Earth is still a complete mystery to us? Within just 2 meters, you can no longer touch the ground. Open your eyes and it makes no difference. It's total blackness. You're now deeper than any human-built skyscraper. Here you'll find some of the strangest creatures on Earth. Over the centuries, inventors and scientists obsessed with exploring the deep sea worked to create machines that could take us there and bring us back safely. Even Leonardo da Vinci sketched early concepts of submarines. But it wasn't until the 1600s that Cornelius Drebbel built the first, functioning one, a manually rowed wooden sub connected to the surface via a hose. Centuries later, submarines evolved through steam, diesel, and even nuclear power. Ships send sound waves down to the seafloor and measure how long they take to bounce back. And polymetallic nodules used in batteries, solar panels, and even weapons. Mapping the ocean isn't just science, it's survival. It's the last great frontier on Earth. The one place still shrouded in mystery. The one part of our planet that remains truly unknown. And slowly, piece by piece, we're revealing its secrets. And let us not forget, humans have already found plastic bags at the bottom of the Mariana Trench. So yes, we absolutely have the potential to mess it all up. But that doesn't mean we should stop searching. Hiding from progress is not the answer. Staying ignorant out of fear only sets us back. It's more accurate but slow. Too slow to map the entire ocean with just one ship. That's why the international initiative, Seabed 2030, was launched. Its goal: map the entire ocean floor by 2030. That's right, every inch. When the project began in 2017, only 6% of the ocean floor had been mapped. Today, that number has climbed past 20%. The plan is to get to resolutions of 800 meters per pixel for remote areas and as detailed as 3 meters per pixel in busy zones. These advancements revolutionized military strategy, espionage, and later deep-sea exploration. Take the Melanocetus johnsoni, also known as the anglerfish. You might remember it from Finding Nemo, a creepy deep-sea predator with a bioluminescent lure on its head to attract prey in the dark. Then finally, we hit the hadopelagic zone. Hado comes from Hades, the Greek god of the underworld. And the name fits. This is the bottom half of the ocean, stretching from 6,000 meters all the way down to the deepest point on Earth, the Mariana Trench. Unlike Mars, where satellite imaging can provide resolutions as sharp as 5 meters per pixel, mapping the ocean floor is much more challenging. Ocean floor maps typically have resolutions of about 1,000 meters per pixel. That's incredibly low detail. That's because satellites can't see through water. However, scientists have developed clever workarounds. Tiny changes in sea surface height caused by mountains or trenches on the ocean floor can be measured by satellites. For example, if there's a mountain beneath the sea, the water above it is ever so slightly higher. This allows scientists to make educated guesses about what's down there. It's located in the Pacific Ocean and plunges to a depth of about 11,000 meters. It's deeper than Mount Everest is tall. In fact, Earth is deeper than it is high. Yes, humans have actually made it there, though only a few. And yet we're still barely scratching the surface. Welcome to the twilight zone of the ocean, literally and figuratively. Past 1,000 meters, we enter what scientists call the bathypelagic zone, also known as the midnight zone. From here on, things get weird. This is where the stuff of nightmares begins to appear. Like the blobfish, famously labeled as the world's ugliest animal, with a colossal squid, which can grow over 15 meters long and has eyes the size of basketballs. And if the pitch blackness doesn't scare you, maybe the temperature will. It drops to around 4 degrees Celsius, or 39 degrees Fahrenheit. But honestly, that's not even the biggest problem. The real killer is pressure. At this depth, you'd experience over 500 times the atmospheric pressure of the surface. It's like having a pickup truck pressing down on every square inch of your body. No human could survive it without serious protection. This is exactly where tragedy has struck before. Like the 2023 Titan submersible disaster, which occurred during a dive to the Titanic wreck at around 3,800 meters. To go any deeper, you'll need diving gear. Recreational diving typically stops at 40 meters. That's the max depth recommended for safety. At that point, the famous Christ, the Redeemer statue in Rio de Janeiro, would already be completely underwater. Keep going down to about 90 meters, And the Statue of Liberty? Also submerged. By the time you hit 100 meters, sunlight starts to vanish. It's still there. Faintly.
Ow.
But from this point onward, you're descending into the dark. Deeper still, around 300 meters, we hit the current world record for human diving depth. That's about the height of the Eiffel Tower only. You're underwater and completely surrounded by crushing pressure. Military submarines typically cruise around 400 meters deep, and yet, that's still not even 5% of the full depth of our oceans. Sure, we've climbed mountains, built cities, crossed continents, but most of our home has never even been touched, let alone explored. And the reason for that lies beneath the waves. You see, over 70% of our planet is covered by oceans. That's right, more than 2/3 of Earth is underwater. And what's truly mind-blowing is that the majority of this underwater world remains completely unexplored. We know more about the surface of Mars than we do about our own ocean floor. Let that sink in for a second. Now imagine walking into the sea during your next beach vacation. Cool waves around your ankles, sunlight reflecting off the surface. But have you ever really stopped to wonder what's down there? I mean, really down there? It's not just the fish you can see when snorkeling, but the dark, silent, crushing depths that no sunlight ever reaches. Yeah, exactly. Shakespeare once said, "There are more things in heaven and earth than are dreamt of in your philosophy." But he had no idea how true that was when it comes to the ocean. Because under the surface lies an abyss of mystery, wonder, and in some cases, absolute terror. If you've got thalassophobia, the fear of deep water, consider this your warning. Things are about to get real deep real fast. Now let's dive. Figuratively, imagine you walk into the ocean. 500 meters, the last traces of sunlight disappear entirely. Further down, around 4,000 meters, we reach the abyssopelagic zone. Literally, the abyss. The journey to conquer these crushing depths started thousands of years ago with Archimedes and his theories on buoyancy. By the 1930s, American scientists William Beebe and Otis Barton broke the 1,000-meter mark using a bathysphere. A tiny steel ball barely big enough for 2 people. Just looking at it might trigger claustrophobia. But even that achievement was dwarfed by what came next. In 1960, Jacques Piccard and Don Walsh made history when they descended in the Trieste to the bottom of the Mariana Trench. Their journey took almost 5 hours and made them the first humans to reach the deepest known point on Earth. It happened nearly a decade before man walked on the moon. And in a strange twist of fate, it would take over 50 years before anyone else did it again. In 2012, that person was James Cameron, the Titanic director, not the ship's captain. A deep-sea enthusiast, Cameron personally piloted a submersible to the trench's bottom. For years, more people had walked on the moon than had visited the ocean's deepest point. Only recently, with new submersibles like the Limiting Factor, has the number grown. As of today, 27 people have reached nearly 11,000 meters deep. But here's a question. If the ocean is so unexplored, how do we even know the deepest spot is the Mariana Trench? How do we map an area we can't even see? Well, traditional mapping methods don't really work underwater. Still, this method is far from perfect, so researchers also rely on sonar. But some worry this knowledge could be misused. Better maps might lead to resource exploitation. Deep-sea mining for things like manganese, iron, rare earth metals, a detailed understanding of the ocean floor could help locate shipwrecks and missing aircraft. Improve internet cable infrastructure, study marine currents, predict sea level rise, and even save lives by improving tsunami forecasts. Thanks for watching. This is Fact or Fake. We'll see you in the next dive into the unbelievable.